So hi everyone, how's it going? السلام عليكم. هذا فقط فيديو خام أشارك فيه عملية تعلم كيفية ربط الداتابيز، ربط ال SQL اوكي مع الفاست API أو البايثون حتى نتمكن من صنع برنامج بسيط، وهو خلينا نقول برنامج لتخزين المستخدم، ومثلا المستخدم والإيميل. أوكي، يعني كل مستخدم والإيميل الخاص به، أو المستخدم ورقم الهاتف. أوكي، فنبدأ على بركة الله. الهدف الرئيسي كما قلت هو أنه ربط التعلم، كيف أربط قواعد البيانات مع لغة البايثون بس هو الفاست API. That's it. So this time I'm going to use VS Code. هذا ما سأستخدم VS Code. ما علينا. OZT then CD is then backend. Okay, backend, then learn fast API. So open the code here. Okay. المهم كما قلت دائما واقول انه هدفي انا من مشاركة هذه لا داعي مشاركة هذه الفيديوهات بهذا yes I trust author. مشاركة الفيديوهات بهذا الشكل هو أنني أحاول أن أصل الفكرة، هي أنه عملية التعلم ليست أمر سهل، يعني تأخذ وقت وتأخذ مجهود، وفيها يرتكب فيها الشخص أخطاء ثم يصلح أخطائه إلى آخره، وليست هي فقط مجموعة ضغطة أزرار تكتب مجموعة أوامر بشكل سريع على لوحة المفاتيح ثم تقول ترى البرنامج يعمل. الأمر ليس هكذا إطلاقا، بل هو يأخذ وقت، وأنا أحاول أن أشارك عملية تعلمي حتى أوصل هذه الرسالة. يعني That's it. سوف أبدأ على بركة الله. وأنا من النوع الذي يفكر بصوت عالي، وأحب أن أستمع إلى الموسيقى وأنا أفكر وأتعلم إلى آخره. سأحاول ألا تكون هناك موسيقى في الفيديو. أوكي، تمام جدا، أنا أسمعه أنا فقط. طيب let's back. So let's say that this let's create new file. Let's say project notes, and say txt project notes. So this one, first of all, what do we need? We need to create, so let's define the mission is create a simple, okay, a simple app, a simple backend, okay, backend app to do what? To do up to store and delete, to store and delete, to store, delete, read, to store, delete, and read, to store, read, to store, say read and delete contacts. When you say contacts, you mean, like, for example, say this way. Say for example user، على سبيل المثال نقول، معذرة أنا أنسى نفسي أتكلم باللغة الإنجليزية، نقول username مثلا، لدينا username ولدينا phone number أو email. أوكي، phone number أو email. أوكي، فهذا ما سوف نحاول فعله. طيب ماذا علينا أن نفعل كأول خطوة؟ أول خطوة نعمل run fast API run and test. أوكي، نعمل run and test fast API. ثاني خطوة ماذا نعمل؟ نقوم بتهيئة الداتابيس، create a database. Okay, second step, create a database, or initialize database. Okay, so let's start with these two first, then see what are we going to do later. على بركة الله. So let's, before that, Control Alt and Control Alt N. So here we say source and I think app. Okay. نحن هنا نقوم بتنشيط البيئة التي يوجد فيها الفاست API bin and say activate. So okay, has been activated. Very good. Is it working? Let's try with that and see. Now let's delete all these here and try again. Say from fast API import fast API. Then say up equal fast API. See this one and see what's the matter here. It says okay, unable to import fast API up class blah 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 blah. It's a sum of blah 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 that VS Code always does. Anyways, so enter path and find. Okay, we're here, go here, then activate. Okay, normally the problem has been solved and say at, create a decorator, say up dot get, and say for example here say test. Okay, then say def test. So just say give it nothing, just say return what. So we want this function to return message and should say for example hello I am hello test success. So hello test success. Hello test success. Right, so to do that we need to start the server. Say uv icon and say main app dash reload. Server is running. Okay, so copy this one. I don't want to open it, so this one. It's better to go on this screen. Take this one down. Open. I don't know if it is recording this screen as well or recording this screen. That's good. So say so this one, create new window and open in here. Control V. I said Control V. Haven't copied it. So just let us stay. That would be better. Let's stay in here. Where is? I haven't copied it, so I should have copied it. Let's go here. Put it in here. Control V. Go. Okay. It says not found. Why? Okay, slash tests. I have to say slash tests. Okay, so say test. See if it is working. Okay, very good. So hello test success. Nice. That's the first step. Now let's go. How to create SQLite. So SQLite database. Okay, database for to connect it with Python. Okay. So let's go here. Our notes says run and test fast API. Say here done or success, whatever. So say done. Okay, so we said to create a database, to create an SQL. Why an SQL? An SQL database. Okay, and connect with Python. Follow these steps using Python built-in SQLite model. Okay, to import. Okay, so first step, I should import this one. Okay, let's import. So import SQLite 3. Okay, this step is done. Let's import SQLite 3. So just this one. Then create connection. So it says create or connect to database. So use SQLite 3.connect to create a new SQLite database or file. Connect to add an existing one, or what? Use SQLite 3 connect to create a new SQLite database file or connect to an existing one. If doesn't exist, it will be created automatically. Okay, so let's add some notes here. You better stay. So say create connection. Say create db connection connection. Okay, create the connection. That's good. So we should write this one. Select one equal SQLite 3, then connect. It's a function, I guess now. So connect, right? Like this, connect, right? Connect, just like this one. Say connect this one and say that my database. So this contacts database. Contacts db.db. Contacts db.db. So this is my this is this one. We done that. Okay, what is this now? Let's see. This creates file named database in your current directory and returns a connection object to interact with database. Okay, alternative. All right, so alternative to create a temporary database in memory which disappears after the program. Okay, so this is a virtual one. I don't want that. Then create a cursor object. The cursor allows you to execute SQL commands. So the cursor allows me to execute SQL commands. Okay. Say a cursor to execute commands. A cursor to execute commands. It's a cursor equal connection.cursor. Where is your cursor? Okay, so let's create a site one because I have some questions. This one, what is this? Like connection.cursor. That's correct. My question is, it's like I forgot my question. My question says السؤال يقول cursor allows you to execute commands. I even forgot the question. What is it? It's like cursor. What is this cursor? So what is cursor? Cursor. Anyways, I forgot even the question. Then we have done this one. After that says create table and execute SQL commands. Create table and execute SQL commands. So for example, create a table named customers. Okay. Cursor that execute. So here, another step. We need to create table. Create contacts table. So here create contacts table. We said that our table should has username and should has email. Okay, let's go with email. something email, whatever. All right, so this one we say cursor dot execute. Okay, what to execute? Say those three here, and another those three here. There, start our commands. And this said create, okay, create table if not exists, right? Like this. The table name, should we name it contacts? Contacts. Okay. So this is SQL command to execute to create a table. Let me check that. Just so this is an SQL command to create a table. Yes. Oh my god. Shit. Yes, your SQL command has a typo. Okay, where is the typo? It should be create table, not exists. Not create table if not exists. There is a mistake. There is a typo somewhere. Okay. Create table if not exists. There is E. It should be removed in here. Okay, exists. It told me here about it, so I didn't even pay attention to that. Okay. So this is an SQL command to create a table. All right, good. Let's back here. This should be closed like that. All right, cursor execute near syntax error. We will see about that later, not a problem. So just let's create table if not exists. Okay, contacts, and we say that now we need to provide values. I'll say ID. Just you better stay here and say an ID. It should be integer. Integer. Okay, integer. So something is here. Integer. Let's say primary number. So primary key. Okay, primary key. Let's say first name, last name. Let's say instead of first name, last name, say username. That's the first name. So say first name, say username. Okay, text not null, and well, you keep back in here. I don't want you to keep back in here, stupid. And say just email, and say email must be text not null, like text not. Okay, now identifier, right? So this should be identifier, and this not null. So text not null means we prevent a null value in the database. Let's check that out. So it feels like this one is stupid. I don't know, so that's VS Code sometimes, but anyway. Shouldn't have this one in here, for example. Okay, okay. Copy. Then the let's say the ID here means that is the element that will allow me to identify the element, the element, so I can update, read, or delete an element based on the given ID, right? That's first question. And text not null means that I present the value to be null in the database, right? Right. Let's check. Yes, you are correct on both points. تمام. Okay. كيف فهمنا حاجة. Good. Okay. So, right. Next step is commit. Commit, I think it means like we accept that one. We accept the changes that have been done. So commit, right? Now it's commit this way. Let's commit this way. So good. Okay. You can insert data. Using SQL. Okay. SQL insert statement query with select update with. Okay. Update with update and so on. Using cursor execute method. Remember to commit changes. Okay. So okay. Tamam. Then 6, close the connection. When done, close connection to free resources. Okay, so now let's close the connection, then we ask another question. So connection.close. Close. Now what will happen if I didn't close the connection? What will happen if I don't close? Close the connection. If you don't explicitly close your database connection with connection are closed, server issues might occur. Okay, يعني راح تصير مشاكل إذا ما أغلقت. تمام. The connection might remain open until your application ends or the object is a garbage collected. Okay, which can take unpredictable amount of time. Okay, yes. Then open connections consume database and system resources, and if not and if too many are left open, you might hit connection limits, causing your database request to fail. Okay, good. To fail, or the application to slow down or crash. Got. Enclosed connections can lead to connection leaks, making it hard to debug and maintain your application. In some environments, your connections are eventually cleaned up automatically. Example, when process ants, okay, ants or the garbage collector runs, but you should not rely on this for timely resources management. Best practice, always close your connection explicitly to avoid resources leaks and unpredictable behavior. تمام. Okay. So you must close database connection to avoid those problems. تمام. Using contacts manager recommended. So you can use connection. Okay. This is another way. So you can use the connection as context manager to automatically handle closing. So he says that I can use this way instead of what? Just a second. Instead of this close automatically and this commit and so on. Customers create table if not exist. So close connection automatically. Okay, so which one is best practice? Let's check which one is best practice. And so which one is best practice? This, let's copy this one. Just let's copy this one. Or this one. This one or this one. Just copy this one. It doesn't matter. And say Control V. Run. Okay. Using context manager, is considered best practice for merging SQL connections in Python. This approach ensures that the connection is automatically closed when the block is executed, even if an error occurs, making your code safer and cleaner. Here is why. Automatic cleanup. Okay. Reducing the risk, resources leaks, cleaner code, no need to remember to. Okay. And error safety, if exceptions happens, the connection still properly closed. Okay, so this pattern is preferred. Okay, so I need to refactor my code to make this new best practice. Okay, not a problem. So we need here, let's refactor the code then with start over again. As connection. So let's start from here. Create with open. With just copy this one and see. Let's just copy this one. Control V, right? Instead of that. Oh my god, that feels like sometimes I feel like we are doing some stupid stuff. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So as connection. Okay, as connection. Then what we have to do? We have to do the cursor here. Control X, just hit tab that way. Copy our. I told you, like, this one feels like blow my mind off. Anyway, then what you have to do, we have to copy the rest of that one. So just like close those guys in here. يا ما الله. So this one like this, cursor, close, create, execute. Okay, normally things are good in here, so far so good, but why am I keeping this one? Just let's close it so far. Close. Okay. We have done so far. Okay, create contacts table. All right. Okay, we did this one. Ensure this ensures to be closed. All right, now what's next? Like how okay, so now how can I check if the database is connected or not? Like, for example, run like this one. Run. There is an error. Then okay, cannot operate and close the database during handling. So during handling the above exception, another exception occurred. Model with SQLite database as connection. The SQLite programming cannot operate and close database. So do you mean like, should I? Let's ask another question. Like, since this context manager loses the database automatically, just run automatically. Why do I need dot close function? Just say function in this code. Great question. When you use so context manager, you do not need to call that close explicitly inside the block. Context manager automatically takes care of closing. What happened if you call close inside with the block? So it will close the connection immediately, and subsequent operations on connection or its cursor after concludes will raise an error because the connection is already closed. Okay, that's what caused the problem. So we do not need this line. ما نحتاج هذا السطر لأنه هو أصلا هذا يقوم بالإغلاق بعد التنفيذ. يعني تمام، لنجرب ونرى. تمام جدا. Okay, so let's check if has been created. Okay, so this is the database has been created, contacts DB. Okay, now so create the database done. what is the next step? The next step is create a function to insert data, to insert name and phone and email. Create a function to insert phone and email, and create another function to read. Okay, create a function to insert say username and email. Another one, create a function. There is a mistake in this one. Function to read info from the database, to read or extract, to read contacts, not to read, to retrieve contacts from DB, from database, retrieve from DB. Okay, so data from DB, so we need one to insert. Okay, now how to create a function to what? A function to insert data to the database. Not this one. I made mistakes, so I shouldn't ask in this place. It's better to ask in this one, but okay. I made mistake. I shouldn't ask in here. So let's just, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Let's keep going. Anyways, this will be our function. So we've done this one here. Just here add command, create a DB and connection to it. Create a DB and connection to it. Okay, that's been done. Test the fast API. Done. Test the fast API. Okay, so here create function, insert data to DB. Insert data to DB. So say def, you create a function, insert contact, insert underscore contact, insert contact. Then here it should like user name, username and email. Username and email. That's all so far. So with okay, connection as connection, cursor connect, execute. So execute this command. Okay, so we say with using connection manager to, but we do not need close. Why it is keep writing close? It's wrong. Anyway, with SQLite 3 dot connect and say name of the database. So it would be a great idea let's say great idea if I say db underscore name equal, then just set it like that. That would be much better. Yeah, that would be much better. For cleaner code, and say db name. Okay, so just instead of each time writing the db like that, db name. So db underscore name, db name. Go. There is something. Connection this way. Then we say the cursor. So cursor equal connection dot cursor. What's going on? Cursor. There is something not okay with this editor. I don't know what's going on. Cursor, then say cursor execute. So cursor execute. Cursor dot execute. So execute what? Execute what? Execute this command. So we can say it in two ways. We can say it this way. This insert. Okay. Insert into. This is the table name. Contacts. And say user name and email. And email values values. Okay, then now I have a question. Why do we need these two why do we need these two? Then we say database commits. Okay. So value this way. See, user and email. So like this way, say username and email. Username and email. I think the border is low. 29% still. I still have email and insert. So we can do it like this, or we can do it like this. I prefer to do it like this way, so personally much more cleaner. So at least I can see what's going on in here. And say this one. Okay. Cursor. Then I can say database commits and say connection commits. Here and say connection dot commit. Connection dot commit. We do not need to say like close, because it already closes. But this one, username, email, they haven't been used yet. So what's wrong in here? Username, am I mistaken in something? It says username isn't defined. what's going on in here. Unexpected indentation. What? Unexpected what? Unexpected indentation. So this one should be here. This one should be here. Okay, now all is fine. So far so good. It is throwing problems, but this is balance is causing the problem, or who is causing the problem. So expression cursor blah 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 إلى آخره isn't assigned to anything. Leave it as it is. Okay. It doesn't matter this one, but just for a bit of organization you could just make it in here and okay, insert. So this function, it should insert data to the database, so it will require us to, all right, so now let's convert it into an endpoint and say up dot post. Since we said that post is, we use it when we want to write to the database or to write something, so we use post. So post and say here add, let's say contacts. Okay, let's ask this question. So what is the best practice when to name this endpoint? What is the best practice to name this endpoint? So what is the best practice to name this endpoint? Okay, so when designing RESTful API endpoints, best practice for naming and structuring your routes help make your API endurable and maintainable and consistent. Best practice for naming, use noun that represents the resource. Since you are inserting contact then, and input should be related to the resource, name example contacts. So use HTTP method to define actions. So okay, post method is used to create new resource. So post contacts means create new resource. Avoid using root for specific operation. The root path is too generic and not descriptive. Recommended. So here we should name it contacts. Okay, so for naming, use a noun, okay, to represent resource. So when naming, and okay, let's take some notes in here. How to do that? Let's say, just say when naming and point, when naming and points, these are endpoints or resources, just like endpoints. When naming endpoints, resources. Is the difference between the endpoint and the resource? Use a noun that represents the resource. So in this case, what is this in this case? Like naming endpoint. So in this case, what what do we call this? What do we call this? So what is it named? Endpoint or resource or what? Defines endpoint. Okay, so this is an endpoint. So we're naming endpoints. Choose meaningful names. Okay. Use nouns, not verbs. Is it like this? Verb. No, use nouns, not verbs. Okay. Alright, so here I should name it contacts. Since it is a noun, I'm going to deal with contacts. So contacts. But contacts. Okay, let's go on with this one so far. This is an endpoint and create contacts and see if it is working or not. Expression is assigned to nothing. What should be assigned to? Anyways, contacts. Now let's run the server again and see. Run the server. Okay, looks like there is no problem so far. Contacts. Okay, I think this time we need, let's say contacts first of all and see what's going on. Contacts. Method not allowed, method not found. I think it is post. I think it should go with, we need to go with the docs. Okay, say docs. Regular docs, those ones. Contacts, okay. This one, insert contact. It says like, say for example, name. Say Aussie. And Gmail, like Aussie at Gmail, for example, gmail.com. Let's try to execute. We have an error, internal server error. Okay, where is the error? Error, blah 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 blah. Exceptions. Internal. What's the problem? It was cursor.commit connection connection.commit in the previous one we mentioned that we should not connection.commit, we should not use close connection, this function. Let's figure out what's the problem. So insert contact, cursor execute, table content has no column, named username. Has no column, named username. Has no column, named username. So, but contacts username. So what's wrong? It's correct. And email. Execute has no column named username. That's a problem. Commit. Everything is correct so far, but why it says like has no named username? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe there is a mistake in the table. Contacts. Okay. Username text shouldn't be null. Email. Username. Values. Let me check this. Maybe I won't get something. Cursor. Was it in this one? This is to close the cursor, not to close the database. Connection is automatically closed here. Okay, so cursor dot close. Cursor dot close. You have to close the cursor, not the database. Okay. Good practice. And cursor execute, create table, if not exist, contacts. Like, what's the mistake in here? The mistake is in this function. It says let's check that one. This one is closed. Contacts DB. Okay, but why? Let's try to run again, and I want to see the mistake. Username, blah blah blah. Execute so I can understand more. Table has no column named username. So okay, I need to check data database columns. يا ما يلا columns names. I need a temporary code to check them. Okay, pragma. Okay, this is the name of the database, and say cursor. Okay, let's just say temp code here and see what's going on with that. Say temp function to check all columns. we do not need, just take this one, connection, copy this one, just copy this one, copy the first table. It's not a function, whatever, code. It's not a function, it's code. Column names, print. Okay, the database has no columns at all. That's the problem. So that's the problem. Let's create a new folder, name it helper. Let's say underscore. Let's say helper code. Let's say just helpers or utils, whatever. And say .txt. Control C and go here, just copy it. We might need it later. In any case, and it has, the database totally has no columns. Why? So let's delete the database. Yes, move to trash, it doesn't matter, it's okay. Since we're learning, we won't worry about that much. Let's kill this terminal. And let's start over again. Why to okay, so this one is creates, let's do the second database, the contact database, contacts db and contacts db. So this one is creating the contact db. Instead of say db name, instead of that, just let's take this one, say db name. The db name, and let's delete those 1 second. Move to trash. Let's try again. Okay, now we are talking. Now we're talking. Okay. The mistake that the database, it doesn't have any columns, so that's why I couldn't insert the database. Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna comment you for a while. Now let's try to run our dash reload again, and let's check the program again, reload, and we have here, we say Aussie, and let's say, for example, Aussie at gmail.com. Still internal server error. What's the problem? Incorrect number of bindings supplied. The current statement uses 2 and there are 0 supplied. What does this mean? I couldn't understand. Line 36, this line. Incorrect number of bindings. And this line. This one. See. Uses 2 and there are 0. uses 2 that are 0. Why so? So programming error, incorrect number of bindings. So means I am binding this to this with those here. It says there are 0 while I am using 2. So let me check the code again. I think it was here. Insert, create table of not exists. Not this one, I think this one. Insert, yes. But what is this connect? No. Is this the code that it provided me? No, not this one. Insert. Recommended endpoints naming. It's okay. We'll back to that later. My database. This is the first code. Where did I ask him? Best practice. Recommended naming endpoints. Then this one here. There is one that I asked him for creating database. Insert. I think this one. It's okay. Insert email name values. Connect. Not this one. This is using try except, and this is not the code that I went with. Recommended dot commit. I can't find the code. I think it was in here. Oh no. Not call. No need to call. This one. Okay, finally I found it. So that's the problem. That's the problem. The problem here is I am using this one and I shouldn't use it in here, but I should use it in here, I guess. This way. Now let's try again, but it says there is a problem in here. What's going on? So okay, all fine, all fine. So let's try again. Execute. Okay, it worked. Normally the response is 200 means okay, means that like it worked. Okay, that was the problem. Nice, nice. We have solved this one. Now let's create another function that reads from another function that reads from the database. So let's say that this one is done. This one, create an endpoint. Okay, this one to insert is done. Now we need the last one, which is to create, before the last one, the one to retrieve contacts from the database. So I think I was with this one. So now how to get contacts from the DB. Okay, with open this function, another one. So say retrieve data from DB. Okay, retrieve data from DB. Same logic, almost. Say def insert, no, retrieve. Let's just get contacts, get contacts, yes, get contacts, because I want to get them all, and say with nothing, do nothing, just like retrieving the contacts, and say with open. I think connection database and blah 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 blah, a lot of blah 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 there, so just need to copy this one, those ones in here, and say control, say control C, control V in here, and say DB name as connection, cursor, execute. So now select, so let's say select all, select, now select means we get, so there's another SQL statement, so say select all, okay, from select all, so select all from the table contacts, okay, the table contacts, we don't need those in here, can delete them, select all from contacts, which is the table, and we don't need this one, okay, select all from the table, contacts, so set this one and say contacts, okay, equal cursor dot fetch all, get everything, so get everything in the database, so get all contacts in the database. For contact in contacts print, so we can say this one, connect, close, we'll ask about this later. And cursor, so make for loop for contact in contacts, and say print this way, so say f function and say name, and say here, but how to select a contact name, yeah, say just a second, I'll check that if it works, say, or let's try first of all the save option, then we'll talk about our options. Contacts, print contact, okay, cursor, so what's the problem or wrong with this cursor in here? Indentation, I'm always having a problem with this indentation. Python indentation, Python and indentation. This one, not this one, just need to push it a little bit forward in here. I say, for example, contact dots, for example, name, say username, Will it work? It's supposed it is going to work, but is there any error in here? Context is not defined. This one is different. Contact. Which one is correct? It's contact with E. So this way, remove this one, contact, this one, the username. Check if this one gets us only the usernames, and let's make it endpoint, say at app.get, and say this one. Say this one and say contacts. Let's test that. So far so good. Okay, make refresh in here. Now we have this get contacts, try out, execute, internal server error. Expected. So let's remove this one. Try again. Null. Good. So here we can see the result, but we want to return the result to see it here instead of having null. So what we have to do, say maybe return in here. So return contacts. No, we should not do that. Or let's do it, then we will see something can be a little bit better than that. And say here contacts. Is there a problem? So far so good. Let's try again. Okay, very good. So here we have name and contact. That's nice. So now I think we can do something a little bit better, maybe. So since this one it returns users, we can make like name, whatever, it's okay. So now we created this one. So done. Say done. Now the last one, create a function to delete and delete a contact. So before that, let's just try to add another contact. So let's make it, say name is Alex. We are doing hard coding, Alex, and say Alex gmail.com, alex@gmail.com. Has it? Okay, it has been added. So we're going to have to Alex, and now let's check this one. Okay, it says there are 1 Aussie, but it's supposed to return fetch all. So it's supposed to be returned more than this one. Make refresh and see, maybe this one. So try out, execute. It shows only 1. Why? It is supposed to return them all. Okay. I think the return one is the return one. It shouldn't be in here, but even this way it is not gonna work. We need to append the contacts to a list. So I create a temporary list for contacts. Create a temp list. Temp list to hold contacts. Temp list to hold contacts, and say contacts underscore list, and set it to an empty list. Page down. Now we say, instead of return, we say contacts list dot append contacts, append contact. Then this guy here should return the contacts list, but we can say result or message or whatever. So say contacts. Okay, then we return the contacts list. Let's see that. So why is there a problem with a return amount doesn't match previous indentation? So all right, since it doesn't match here, it will match. All right. Now this is supposed to return execute. Okay, here we're good. Here we're talking. Having this one and this one. Very good. Okay. Now we need to delete a contact from the contacts of the database. All right. Now how to delete a contact. How to delete a contact. Def delete contact, delete from contacts where ID. Okay. So here I have to provide the contact ID. All right. So lots of colors in here. So let's see. Delete the contact by its ID. So we have def delete contacts, def delete contacts. Okay, it's with A, so I am mistaken in here. It's with A, not with contact underscore ID. So contact ID. Now say with. We are reinventing the wheel again, so we don't need. Just copy this one, or let's okay, let's copy this one just. All right, contact ID with SQL database name, connection, cursor, and here is write our command cursor, and we say that we want delete from. So delete from, so say delete from contacts where ID, so say where ID, okay, equal, okay, then say cursor dot close. We don't need these ones. We don't need these ones, so say connection close. Oh, I don't need this one as well. There is a mistake in my code, I'm sure about that. Okay, I told you there is a mistake in my code. And return message success. We don't need, so we don't need as well. Or okay, let's keep it like that. And here we should see this one and say contact. I say should say right contact ID, so contact underscore ID, contact ID. That's it, but there is a problem. Still there is a problem. Contact ID. This should end. This one. Okay. Now it seems good. Now it seems good. All right. Let's now check, but we need to create an endpoint. Say I dot app dot delete endpoints and name it. My God. Say contacts. And it should be written like this. Contacts. Okay. Let me correct that. I'm gonna correct them later. It's okay. All right, let's test this one since everything is so far so good. So let's first of all retrieve all the contacts, and we say that we have two Alex and the ID is 2. Let's try to delete the last one. It says it needs the contacts ID. I have 3. Okay. Okay, the operation success. Good. Okay, it should return them after. So that is wrong. Now let's try to retrieve them again. That's funny. So I think this one should be removed for now. And try that again. And go with this one. Okay, now it has been deleted. It is working well. Let's try to add another one. Let's name it, for example, this time let's say Mark, and say Mark at gmail.com. Mark@gmail.com. Create. Okay, has been created successfully. Let's check that out. Okay, but why this database, it returns them like this way? It has a problem. Returns them this way, so just execute. there is something wrong with this database. Anyways, we have Alex, Ozzy, this one, it's like duplicated. Let's start by deleting this one. Okay, 3 and C. I want to delete, which one I want to delete? I want to delete by ID 3. Okay, return null, it should return success. Whatever, I will make it return success later. Now, for now, let's check that again and execute. Mark still here, it hasn't been deleted yet. Why? Because maybe because I am using the ones, I'm installing the ones in the data in here, and this is wrong. What I did here, I think, is wrong. So to hold the contacts in the database, I shouldn't hold them in the database. That's Let's comment this out for a little while. I said comment, not delete. Okay. And that one for contacts do not append. Just return. I wanted to return the contacts. Okay. Contacts, return contacts. Now let's skip this one up this way. And now check that out. Contacts, not just get those ones. And see, there is only one. That's the problem. It's fetch all contacts, and for contacts and contacts, let's get rid of this one as well. I don't want that. So contacts, say return contacts for this while, return contacts. Unexpected indentation. Okay, let's check that out, because there is a problem. It should be solved in here. Not this one. Get and try out now. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Now let's try to add another one. Let's try to add Mark Gmail, mark at gmail.com. gmail.com. Execute, created successfully. Let's check that out. Okay, we have 3 users. Now let's delete the last one. ID is 3. Okay, check that again. Okay, has been deleted. Very good. And let's try to delete by using ID number 2. Delete it. Let's check. Okay, we delete. Very good. So let's say that we have done it for now. Done it for now. Now say next time I need to write. I need to implement. Let's say 1. I need to implement error and handling. 2. send or return raw proper proper response like proper response such as done or fail, say success, whatever, done, success, fail, etc. My god. And the third one, try make security or make code secure. Make code secure. Make code secure. And for org the code. Okay, we'll try to do this next time. So that's it. يعني الكود اشتغل الحمد لله، وقدرنا نعمل البرنامج انه يضيف ويقرأ ويحذف. See you next time إن شاء الله. Bye.